Brave souls back for more. This time around, we're going to talk about creating a repo using those newfound command line skills that we have. Before I say anything else, I want to add a disclaimer here that I am certainly not claiming to be either a Git expert or a command line expert. This is how I understand it. This is my perspective from what I've learned. It works for me. My understanding is developing just like your own, and so if there are things that I'm not explaining well, or if I make mistakes, please let me know so that I can learn from them, and I'll go back and improve the videos. I thought it might help to do a little drawing of what I imagine going on here before we do anything. So let's say that we have our computer over here. Okay, we're going to do some setup on our computer, and we're also going to do some setup on GitHub with our accounts. Okay, so there's these two entities. We'll start over here, and we will create a repository. We'll create that using the command line. We'll basically install some things behind the scene under the hood, so to speak. Then we'll go over and we will create a repository using GitHub's web interface. We could name them similar things, or we don't have to. In this case, I'll name them similar things, hopefully for simplicity's sake. And then the last part of the setup is just telling these two entities to communicate, so that when we make changes locally and we push them, they go to the right place. And then when we try to pull things down, they come from the right place. So that, to me, is the basic idea of what we're trying to do here. So let's start by talking about how we're going to set up our local machine, and then I'll show you in the terminal, or in Git Bash in this case. So we're going to open up that terminal. We're going to navigate to the directory where we want to set up the repo or create that directory structure if we don't already have it set to go. We're going to type in git init to initialize Git. I'm going to excessively use the git status command because for me it helps me visualize. Probably after we all have done this 100,000 times, I will stop doing that. But for right now, it just kind of helps me make sure that I know where I am and what I'm doing, that I'm following the right order of operations. I'm going to create a file. I'm going to maybe make a README file or just a practice text file. I'm going to do that by typing in touch and then whatever I want the file name to be. With that all set up, then I'm going to have a file that is ready to be committed if I want it to. And before we can do that, we have to add it to the staging area. So I'm going to type in git add and then whatever the file name is. If I have multiple files and I want to add them all to staging at once, I can just type in git add and then period. That should be a double quote. There we go. Hey, what's up with all my quotes here? Bummer, man. Anyway, git add period, enter, and that will add all of the files I have to the staging area. I can even do a commit at this point. Git commit. Remember that we have to put in a commit message or it won't let us do the commit. So -m. And then in quotations are succinct yet detailed. That's right, rectify that. Succinct yet detailed commit message. Okay, at that point, we'll be ready to set up the browser side. So let me take a step back here and let's go through all of those setups. Let me switch over to the terminal program. All right, so you'll notice I've already created the file structure where I want this repo to be. So I'm in htdocs in my MAMP folder in my applications folder, and I've created a directory called practice repo. So git init, initialized an empty repository. That's no problem. We can create a new file, touch, let's call it practice .txt. All right, now what have we done? Git status. It says we're on the master branch. That doesn't mean anything to us right now necessarily. It shows us a red file, meaning that it's untracked and that nothing has been added. Okay, well, let's change that. Let's add, and I'm just going to be lazy and put the period so that it adds all the files, even though there's only one of them. Okay, that doesn't appear to have done anything. Let's look and see. Oh, it's green now, so it did. So we now have a file that is ready to be committed. It's staged. So we can do that. Git commit. Make sure to put in a message. Added practice file. One file is changed and we're ready to go. So we need to go to our GitHub account. You'll see on that landing page there's a nice green button, looks just like this. Click that puppy. New repository. We'll have to enter in some information about that repository, what we want to call it, and a comment, and then click create repository. All right, let's do that. So here is GitHub. Let's create that repository. And I'm going to type in practice repository and create. Now look at this. They give you these directions. You didn't even need me at all. In their directions, touch readme. Well, we didn't create a readme file. We created a practice file, but it's the same idea. We created a file. We typed in git init. We added that file to the staging area, and we committed it. Okay, now we're ready for the linking aspect, and that involves a command git remote add origin. This URL right here is an old one from another practice that I did. We need to simply substitute that in and put the name of the repository that we just created. But we can make it easy on ourselves. You'll notice that from this page on GitHub, there is a copy to clipboard option. Copy. Okay, and if we go back now to our terminal, you see our step says that we need to type in git remote add. So I'll do all that part, and then I'll just copy in the URL. Let me center this again. Magic. Doesn't look like anything happened, did it? Let's see if status tells us anything. Not really. So let's do the last step, which is to push. And now we have to log in. All right, it did some stuff. It pushed the origin master. It created a new branch, a master branch, and it also should have put that file up there for us. We can test that in just a second. So if we want to see what we did, we go back over to GitHub, and you'll notice here's that repository that I created, and there was nothing in it when I first created it. If we did our job, inside of here will be that practice text file. And now it's all linked. Okay, so all we have to do from here on out is push and pull. So we've got the local machine set up to communicate with GitHub, and you're all set. RC is the one that showed me all of this after class, even though we'd already talked about it in class and I'd already watched the treehouse video. There's nothing like sitting down one-on-one with somebody and having them there to back you up if you're confused. So thank you to all of these people for helping me put it together. Hopefully the video substituted for that one-on-one conversation, but if not, grab RC. He's super helpful, or any of us will be happy to help you as well. Good luck with that first code challenge. Have a great weekend.